Hello and good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever today may find you. Paul Trani here. Should be able to see me. Feel free to say hello. But yeah, we're going to work on some Illustrator pro tips today. So yeah, happy to be here. Feel free to say hello in chat. It'd be fantastic. And just let me know if audio and video are good. All right. Just let me know. Yeah, audio, video good? It is on my end, at least. I always like to check in with you guys, see what's going on. So good morning to you. Hello, Carol. All right, this is going to be fantastic because I get to go over all my pro tips for 2024, right? Similar to 2023, but honestly, it's the pro tips that have been in Illustrator, or the tips that have just been in Illustrator that you're just not aware of, to be honest with you. And it happens to everybody because we could spend a whole, I've been doing this a long time, but, so basically there's tips that, that we've had in Illustrator that you're going to know about. All right. Awesome. Kevin, got confirmation. So here I am in Illustrator. So I'm just using the latest Illustrator. Notice you can also sign up for the beta, but you could always check that stuff under Creative Cloud. So right in here, just keep track. There's even a new release today, but basically you can get access to the Illustrator beta. I'm using Illustrator latest version, so this Adobe Creative Cloud version 28.2. So that's where we're at. Not a big deal because most of these tips have been in Illustrator a while. We'll go to File, New, and we'll pick, say, this one right here. Feel free. Bruce, it's great to see you too, my friend. Awesome. So we'll go to Illustrator, and we'll go to, and you'll pick a blank file, and it could be any one of these blank files, whichever one you're used to using. Oftentimes, it's either print or web. That's what most people end up using. It's might be letter, but check this out. We'll just go ahead and use letter format, horizontal, create. Here we are, and you'll start working away, right? You get this default fill and stroke, and then you'll also get this sort of standard Myriad Pro, which, hey, maybe you love Myriad Pro. That's fantastic. But I usually like tricking this out, and this is probably a tip that I always start with, but I find it to be the most important one. Hello, Patrick. How are you? So let's say you don't use Myriad Pro. You have a specific font that you want to use, and I could even go into, we can pick on Comic Sans, or we can do Papyrus, right? We get, dare me to? Yeah, whatever. I can change this to Papyrus. But more importantly, not only change it there, we will go to my, down into type. We could go into character styles. So you want to just change the default to be Papyrus. Just double click on that. Basic character formats. Change this from Myriad Pro to Papyrus. I might have to scroll down to it. Really, whatever you want. But essentially, there it is. We've changed it. We'll get obnoxious with it. We'll increase the size, and we'll click OK. So I changed my basic character options. So now anytime I use the type tool, it's always going to be that size. Peter. Oh my gosh, it's Peter. Peter Bex is here. I don't believe it. Yes, I do have Papyrus on your system. On my system, I have Papyrus. I have Comic Sans. Let me just say, first off, there might be some bad fonts out there, but overall, there are no bad fonts. There's just horrible uses of fonts. Probably horrible uses of good fonts. Comic Sans is a good font. This is a good font if you're making Avatar or something that fits it. It's just the use. You guys know what's up. So I just created this. I just changed that. Now, anytime you use the text tool, it's going to change. It's going to always be Papyrus, which I know you guys are already annoyed at. I get it. But I usually set up Illustrator, my default file. And so we've done that with the character style. What if we want to do that with our default anytime we create a shape? We want it always to be thicker, because ultimately I want this to be 10 point, and we'll make the center of it just a nice, you know, whatever, green, since I'm wearing green today. Okay, there we are. We have that done. We'll go into graphic styles, which are right here. We'll open up our graphic styles. How do you change the default? Anytime you create a shape, how do you change the default to always be 10 point stroke, which is black, and the inside fill is going to be green? Well, you're going to take this and hold down the Option key and drop it right on top. Bingo. This right here, this is now my new default graphic style. So now anytime I create something, not only you know, square or rectangle, if I use the star, everything's going to be sort of this size. And I'm already like totally embarrassed about this design. Get a skull or flower in there. Heck yeah. Tell me about it. Yes, please. We can talk about where to get graphics. We can create a quick graphic. Now I want to create a skull. But that's also part of it, because what if you do want to have sort of a standard, sort of a skull that you use a lot, or some sort of logo that you use all the time? All right, we'll do that really fast. We'll take those two. There we are. You can do this a number of ways. Also, another pro tip. I'm already getting into pro tips that are inside of my pro tips, because I'm not done with the first one. But anytime you combine shapes, you'll use Pathfinder. You'll click to unite, which means it's destructive. I've actually deleted these the vector path right here. So what you want to do is hold down the Option key. So zoom back out. We'll select these two. Let's get out of that. There we go. Hold down the Option key again and click, and now it's going to keep that math right in there. So the Option key is probably the most powerful key the most powerful shortcut in Illustrator, if you ask me. So we'll do that. We'll do our eyes. You know, we'll create our fun little skull. Zip, zip. Let's just get a line across. There we are. Polygon. Well, there's no, this is a polygon. There is no, you know, as I draw this out, it's a polygon. It's not a rectangle, a triangle, rectangle, or anything. But I can make a square, a polygon, a triangle, everything from the polygon tool. That's what I'll typically do. It's all right here. Same thing for the star tool. Let's do this. Oh, maybe not. Okay, star tool, not so much. I thought I was going to get extra crafty there. But let's take this, let's round the corners and do something like that. And I want to say hello to Jack Watson. What's up, Jack? Jack probably knows this stuff. You guys might, Kevin, you might know this as well. All right, Mohammed needs help graphic designing. Awesome, you are at the right place. Right now, we're just making a skull, and there's like more pro tips I want to get into. But we're currently making a skull, and then here is our lovely, you know, skull that we might be using all the time. Right, there we are. Am I losing my mind? Losing my mind. There we go. So here's our OK skull. Remember, this is non-destructive now as well, so I can always kind of move that up. But here's my skull that I might want to use over and over again, and it might be a logo. I could take that and I could drop it in here, and now it's like a symbol, okay? And there's our way to just like one way of keeping it like so. So I can always bring that in and start using it in my project. Okay, cool. So what have we done up to this point? We have created a default text, which is papyrus, a default graphic style, and then we created a skull, an element that we use all the time. So here's the deal. Let me save this to my desktop. We'll call it Paul's pro tips. There we are. That's saved. But the thing is, anytime I go to File, New, I lose all of that stuff. Even when I go to Letter, like, I lose it all. Like, it all disappeared. I'm like, oh, I'm always using Papyrus. I'm always using that green color, and everything's set back to the default. The thing that I use this for the most are my swatches as well. So let's go back to Paul's pro tips. Because what do we have in here? Like, right in here, I will typically make so many different gradients that I love gradients. I really do. I'm just like all about, using gradients. But in here for the default, it's so lame. Look, you got like 3 that I will never use, but you'll typically start with this one, right? Frank, you'll start with this one. You'll maybe double click. You'll tweak it to get the look that you want, because you're always doing like, let's just do a fun rainbow style, whatever. But it's like, I have to make this every single time. Well, no. Well, first off, take that. We'll add it here. Boom. Now that's added. We've tricked this out. We've saved all this content. And you could do this with a number of files. Now, created all this cool stuff. I have this set up the way I want. Anytime I go to File, New, it's just not going to be there. So that's why you want to, and I'll actually quit Illustrator. Wait for it. There we are. And just to kind of point out, you just take that and go to New Document Profiles for your version that you're using. So show in enclosing folder. Here we are. I know this is long. I can send you, I'm going to post a document actually to Twitter at the end. But basically, in your application, your library application support inside of Adobe for the version that you're using, so mine's version 28, you store it right in here. So notice I have this thing called everything. Well, I could also drop in my pro tips in there. So now I'm going to have a Paul's pro tips every time I start Illustrator. So we'll do that right now. We'll launch it. Yeah, you just wait, Bruce. You said trick out my layer styles like Paul. Like, I have a ton of layer styles and a ton of gradients. So let's go to New File. We'll go into All Presets. Actually, hold on. I don't know why it's in here, but basically it's under Print. And this is where you'll find, oh, there's Paul's Pro Tips. And there's also something called Everything. So let's go with Paul's Pro Tips, or the file that you made when we launch this. Oh, look, let's go ahead and create whatever we want to create. Oh, it has that default color and stroke for any of my shapes that I draw. Oh, the default, that gradient that I love, oh, that's in there. And also, when it comes to the type, it is Papyrus. So, yeah, super easy. Your presets always just disappear. Oh, I hope they don't disappear. So let me show you my version that I've just spent more time on. Check this out. File, New. Honestly, I've set this up only once. So look, every time you launch Illustrator, you're going to have your pro tip file with all your settings. But this is mine that I use. It's called Everything because I have everything in here. It's a fresh file with all my stuff in it. And what do I have? I have all my stuff, or pro tips. Let's do pro tips. There we are, pro tips. Set up with my Acumen variable concept font. Why do I like it? Because you have all these variations. It happens to be a variable font. You do that. Hey, we want to throw some style on it. Here's my graphic styles. Remember how we just modified this one? Well, I have all of these. So I can click right there. Boom. We have that, which is looking totally lame. I actually like this one. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting someplace, and it's all right in here. So even for our background, we want to throw in a Cool gradient. Oh, look at that. You do have a fancy gradient back there. Yeah, I got all the gradients in here, brother. Look at this, Carol. Papa. Carol wants more gradients. Look at this. Just amp it up. We're getting electric. That's looking a little 90s, and I'm okay with it. So there that is. There that is. Oh, all the symbols that I'll use. Right. Let's go here, go here. Remember, I made a symbol earlier. Here's all my symbols. Remember, I made that skull. I don't have a skull in here, but you know I got some flowers in here because it's going to be pretty. But also this butterfly. So I could select that butterfly. I could select the symbol sprayer tool, and there's all my butterflies. I want these to be different rotations. I could get into all that stuff. I don't know if you guys use symbols a lot. I sometimes do. Just kind of depends. Symbol spinner. Let's spin some of these. So notice how it's spinning so slowly. Double click. Intensity. Take it from 10 to 90. Hopefully I hit 90, didn't I? 90. Oh, maybe is 10 the max amount? I feel like this needs to have a slider. Oh, here we go. Let's do intensity. Yeah. Anyways, so here's where you can kind of optimize that or change it, whatever you want. There's all your symbols. There, you guys got it. So cool. Does that make sense? Are we good? Giving kid pics. I love it. This kid's... So everybody's already given me flack about the design. I would do the same thing. Yeah, give me a hard time. I'm into it. So, just looking at my stuff. Yeah, so there that is. I can get a little bit more crazy if you want to. Anytime you create something, if you're using any of these tools like the star or whatever, let's say we want to make this even more trippy, we can do that. Let's actually turn that off. But let's do this. So here's our star that I've just drawn. Let's crank up the size of this. Let's turn off the background. Here's our star. Hold down the tilde key. This is an oldie but goodie, but there's our, a way of duplicating that shape that you're drawing. So what did I do? I just held down the tilde key, which is the squiggly line. Man, there's not enough time for this. I'm going to have to do maybe part 2 next week, or at least next time I stream. So look at that. It's kind of nuts. I'll do something like, let's do this. Let's do a star. Let's take the star down. So you could turn a star into a triangle. There's our triangle. Let's take something like, any one of these line tools, this arc tool. Let's take this, let's tap it there. Hold on. There we go. I just made all these. Let's do that again. I'm going to delete all these because you're going to see this in action. All right. I'm doing a prism, so we'll maybe have it come out from the top, right, like this. Hold down the tilde key. And let's crank it up because we can't see all those cool gradients. But now we have sort of like, I don't know, like refractoring through a prism sort of deal. I don't know. Anywho, that's what's kind of going on. Maybe it's a spaceship. Let's do that. Whatever. I'm just playing around at this point. All right. Uma, Frank, Susan, Bruce, my friends, Marcia. Uma Corn, man, it's good to have you guys here. I'm just like, enjoying being with you guys because it's been a minute, and it makes me sad that I haven't been here that much. Let's crank this up. Let's taper the end like so. And now we, I don't know, have something else that's going on. That is nifty. A lot of time when I am creating, I will, I mean, I could, yeah, we miss you, buddy. So a lot of these tools, I mean, Illustrator's deep, but a lot of these tools have additional properties inside of them. So take the pencil tool, for instance, because maybe I want to get a little bit more freestyle with this. And we could even, you know, maybe this is a planet or this is something else. We're just going to kind of move this to the bottom as an element that I've talked about. Take this. Here's our rocket. And maybe it's kind of coming off of this planet. Maybe this is a planet. Maybe we'll do that. Let's do this. Geez, I only have... I don't have a lot of time. There we go. Here's our planet. Here's our spaceship. Let's get rid of that white in the background. So let's do that. Do you guys use layers in Illustrator? I'm kind of curious because I know a lot of people that don't use layers in Illustrator. And also, there's no wrong answer. Because I hate gatekeeping and people are like, oh, you got to use it this way. No, man, you do you. You do whatever it takes. You just do you. Like, there's no right or wrong way. There can be ways that are maybe more efficient, but if it's working for you, man, I'm happy for you. Just like, you know, just don't be a jerk. All right, there we are. We could do our little path for our rocket that's just kind of out on a quest. We'll maybe change that to white. We'll grab the pencil tool and we'll start to draw. But kind of showing you this because, like, if I did want this kind of coming up and then it's kind of taking this journey going around this way, that's its journey. Look at how horrible this line work is. And look at how many points it has. I thought I was good, but I'm just horrible at drawing, apparently. And that's what you'll think. Well, if you double click on the pencil, you have the ability to just kind of crank it down to smooth. So I usually keep this set to smooth. I will keep it selected. Option key toggles smooth tool. So that's kind of how I have this set up. Since this is already selected, I can redraw it. So let's zoom in. I've changed it to smooth. And now I can kind of come down here to this point and even just kind of follow that same path. But since I have this set to smooth, you could see how much smoother it is. Let's do that again. See, it looks really rough. And then we let go and it's obviously smooth. Also, Option key. It's not smooth enough. Option key changes to the smooth tool. And we can kind of go in and do that and smooth that out. Smooth out these points. But also, when I hold down the Option key, I get this smoothing option. And this is brand new. So when I say 2024, this is what I'm talking about. We can give this even less points. So this kind of controls how many points versus how few points there are. Right? Look at that. I'm loving this. I'm having fun. I use layers, okay, in Illustrator, even name them most of the time. Oh, good. I do as well. So coming over here, I'll usually do that. I'll do it by subject matter. Like I'll have my background and then I'll have a content layer and just, you know, depending on type, if type is in there. And there that is. Okay, now I have this done and I don't have a lot of time. But let's just say I wanted to make this a dashed line. I could make this a dashed line. You guys know how to do that. You know, crank this up to 20. Now it's a dashed line. Okay. And let's say I'm using this dashed line, like even when I draw again, look, it keeps that same dashed line. Why is it? Well, check this out. if you go into the appearance panel, which is my best friend, right in here. Actually, we're going to uncheck new art has basic appearance. New art isn't going to have basic appearance. New art is always going to have the last used stroke, right? Or the last used settings. So that's what is happening here. So using the last used settings, and you can see that do its thing. Cool. Cool. All right. Corel ones don't even, yeah, Corel, I know nothing about Corel. But even when you don't think you're using layers, you actually are using layers. As we twirl this down, you can see all that content right in there. So you get the idea. From here, we can make this fantastical. Hurry, Paul, hurry. Turn that off. Select that background. Paste. Go in here. 2024 pro tip. Change this to scene. And we could match active artboard style. But let's do a colorful alien planet. Match active artboard style. Do that. Generate. And I have 10 seconds. It's going to generate something magnificent that you may or may not see, because who knows how long this is going to take. But that's my time, folks. I only grazed the surface, so I will do this again. Thank you so much. Good hanging out with you. I don't know if we're going to have time for this. But there it is. Boom. There we are. Matching current artboard style. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys hopefully next week, or if not the week after. Thank you.